Now that we've set up our protocol and implemented our delegate methods, we need to be able to go to the AddTaskViewController. So we're going to do that when we press the Add Taskbar button item, and we can go ahead in the ccviewcontroller.m file and create the segue in code in order to present the AddTaskViewController. So we're going to go ahead and call this segue. We can say self perform segue with identifier, and we're going to give it the identifier we set up in our storyboard when we created our segues. So we're going to do to add task view controller segue, and we're going to give it the sender is going to be nil, and we're also going to have to implement the method perform or prepare for segue. And the reason we have to do this is we have to set the delegate property of the instance of cc add task view controller so that it knows to pass messages to ccviewcontroller.m. So it has an instance of ccviewcontroller.m it can send messages to. So we're going to go ahead and implement this method, and we can call this prepare for segue, and it should autofill. And we're going to use an if statement here, and we're going to say if segue.destinationViewController is kind of class, and we're going to add another left bracket here, and we can say cc add task view controller class, and we can go ahead and add some parentheses, and we first need to create a variable that points to our instance of cc add task view controller. So we're going to say cc add task view controller char star, and we'll give it a variable name, so we can say add task view controller, and we can say this is equal to segue.destinationViewController. And now that we have an instance of our cc add task view controller, specifically the instance we're going to be presenting on the screen, we can go ahead and set the delegate properties. We can say add task view controller.delegate is equal to self. So now let's go ahead and run our application. We're going to switch this to iPhone Retina 4-inch screen, and we can go ahead and we can press the Add Task button, and we notice that the Cancel button will work. It'll dismiss the view. We can also press Add Task, and let's set the time to Friday at 3:30 p.m. And I'm going to go ahead and say Task 1 and description. And we can go ahead and press Add Task, and we notice nothing's happening. Well, we're not displaying this information in our table view yet. And we also didn't log out our task. So it might have been useful to write an nslog in did add task and prove that in fact we're able to get this task object back and we're adding it properly. So let's go ahead and do that. We can go ahead and just nslog and make sure that we're actually getting past the task object here. So let's do task.title. And let's go ahead and we can add one more task just to prove that this is working. And this is just a good debugging tip, so just to make sure that things are going in the way you suppose they would. So we can call this like task 2, and we'll call this description 2. We can press the add task button. And now we see that task 2 is in fact getting passed from our protocol method did add task, and we're able to access that when we implement the method did add task inside of ccviewcontroller.m. So great, we've managed to set up our delegate properly. The next step will be to display this information in a table view.